Hello, good day, good evening to everybody across the world. Welcome to Bacon Switch channel. And today is a very special day because we're going to talk about the art book, the art style of Bacon Switch. And with me is Rainier, the creative art director of Bacon Switch.
Good morning, good evening, everyone.
Yes, and I'm the
All
producer.
right.
I'm Elizabeth. So, what we're going to do today is actually we're going to go through this special art book of Bacon Switch, which contains a lot of colorful art of, basically the development of the game Bacon Switch. So, we're going to have a Q&A of the art book, and we'll see how it goes. So, let's just start with Rainier, what is Bacon Switch?
Hmm. Co-op, multi-couch, crazy party game where you punch a bunch of dough. Yeah.
Yes.
In essence, yeah, it's sort of a party brawler where you play with a bunch of your friends or on your own to wrangle a bunch of dough and cook them in the oven.
Yes. So,
It's always a hard game to describe to people, but once they play it, they're like, oh, okay.
yes. So that's what we're trying to depict in this art book. I mean, what I'm showing right now is an art book, an art which shows the bakers with a very pastel-y background and basically the bakers punching the doughs and all chaos basically broke loose.
Yeah, that image was always that was a fun one to make. I don't know. Do you have the I don't know if you have the full spread for that thing? Yeah, because there's a lot more going on the original.
Uh-huh, right.
This is just the bakers, separate from the background.
Yeah. And I think it's all over the internet too, so you guys can check it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving on. So these are the bakers. This is thyme.
There are 6 in total right now. Yeah.
Yeah, there's thyme, there's rosemary, angry granny with a rolling pin. We have also ginger, a mad scientist, and also parsley, which is a cat enthusiast, I guess. Would you say it that way? Or
He loves cats and he
yes.
bakes his own cats. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Yep, and we also
For
have.
those that don't realize, the cats that partially have, they actually are little dough creatures. Yeah.
Yes, shape.
There's still some in there that I would have liked to have made, like that really big, fat, chunky one in the bottom. In the middle.
Right.
There's so many cute dough cats.
Yep. And we also have Salt, which is a salty sailor man with an anchor grappling hook. And
People at this point already have noticed that all the character names are based on condiments that you use in flavoring foods.
right. By the way, how did that happen? Actually, how did we end up just naming all our characters based on herbs and spices? I guess you would say.
It just, oh gosh, I can't remember the exact moment, but it just made sense, and we kind of just rattled down a bunch of spice names and kept going with it.
Right.
And salt just makes sense for the salty sailor.
Right.
Sage for the little witch.
Yes.
Yeah, these were the funny interesting fact. Sage and Salt were designed much later. The first 4 bakers were designed really early on during even the prototype, when we were still figuring out the art style. So Sage and Salt are a much more refined version of the approach, I would say. Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, I just remembered actually one of our artists did mention one of the, basically Kelly, did mention that the characters were based on a Simon and Garfunkel song. I can't remember. It was the title. It's based on the title of the song, which was Herbs. I can't remember, but I'm gonna check it out. It just hit me actually. But yeah, I guess it's quite interesting. And okay, so moving on. to the buns, basically. Oh, okay. We also have the color variations. So, how, I guess, how was the process of creating these color variants as well? And was it necessary to do it as well?
Well, I mean, in the game, everyone can also select the same baker in a match. So the classic problem of being able to uh, tell yourself apart from your other teammates. So from a gameplay point, we were just like, yeah, do the classic thing of uh, anyone that picks the same characters, you just have different color version of that character. Like it happens in fighting games when you're two of the same characters fighting each other. The other one's always a different palette swap. So that was the base logic. Like, okay, yeah, we need this, and then it was like, okay, since we're doing it, let's have some fun with colors.
Right.
And it was a bit organic because initially it was like, okay, you have the baker. Their sort of default palette fits somewhere. Ginger's orange, parsley's green, thyme is blue, granny was pink. And those kind of set already a few colors that need to be in the palette. Because in character selection, you're just picking like from numbers. And the default characters palette fits somewhere in those numbers. So yeah, the initial 6 characters kind of dictated what needs to be there. And then once we had that established, like you do like the first 2 or 3 characters, and it just shows you where are the gaps to fill in for those.
So
it's
what's
just
No, go ahead.
no.
Okay.
Ask
Well,
your question.
okay. Well, basically, based on that, was there any restrictions in creating these characters?
In which way?
I guess in terms of design way, I guess. Do we want to? Well, I guess do we have to be? Does it have to be a character, a human character baker, or does it have to be related to baking itself, or we just run wild? As what I can see, we're just like going wild with our imagination, actually.
About the only thing that is consistent is the mittens, the sort of baking mittens.
Right.
And we do try to hint. Clearly, the very first batch, like Granny and Time, their outfits pretty much look like some sort of baker or sushi chef or something. And then we got more crazy with, like, okay, now there's a scientist and there's a sailor and there's a witch. The witch kind of makes sense, it's a cauldron. She can still like make a brew or some concoctions.
Right.
Even the fisherman does, but then he smokes and brines things.
Right.
Well, but then at one point, like, no, we start to have fun. Like, you've kind of laid your base foundations, and the main anchor for outfits is always, some sort of mitten. One thing that I did limit us to, simply from a production standpoint, so it didn't spiral out of take too much time to make additional outfits, was that for future outfits, only the head and or sort of the head decoration and the mittens could be changed, but we could tweak the colors of the outfit. So like here you can see the base baker outfit doesn't actually get changed. It's sort of just stuff that's layered on top. We pushed it a lot though in outfits, where you almost can't tell that we were working with those limitations.
Yeah.
But so far, yeah, everything is human. We haven't done like a cat or an alien character yet. Those designs are definitely there, because why not? It's fun stuff.
That's right. So basically, headgear, mittens is essential. Okay, so yeah, these are the variations that made it into the game. And just skimming through. All right, so these are basically, you would say, the alternate costumes.
Yes.
which, yeah, Salt has. What do you call that again?
Diving helmet.
Diving helmet, yes, thank you.
Yeah, and for Salt, we try to stick to nautical themes, sea themes. For Time, it's sort of like martial arts, and sort of someone that's really into like Asian culture, like Japan and all that. So Sage, we stuck to European sort of like witch, plague doctor, druid kind of things. Parsley he's the oddball. We just do all kinds of random things with him.
There has been a debate.
Ginger, yes, Parsley. He's special.
Yes.
He, she, it.
Yeah, exactly. We're kind of like, is it a guy or?
We don't know.
We don't know. We'll let you all decide. It's up to you.
You yeah. Do what you want.
Yes.
Ginger, yeah. I mean, it's science themes, lab coats, hazmat suits. What's the other one?
And Rosemary?
Mad Scientist.
Oh, Mad Scientist.
That's
you mean
also in
for
there.
yeah.
We'll do that sometimes.
Yes.
Granny is Granny. She's the gardener, the baker, what was the other? Some of the more royalty kind of things. She's a bit aristocratic.
Yes, but you know what's interesting?
So that's kind of the keywords that we would use when we do the designs. Like I just give those to the artist. Like, okay, here, kind of just run with that.
Right, and it's interesting because Granny is like, you seem like she's a really sweet Granny Rosemary, but actually she's the most brutal with her specials. She just rolls out a rolling pin and whacks everything. Yeah, so don't mess with Rosemary, Granny. So this screen right now that I'm showing is actually the the Stormy costumes, which you can unlock when which you can unlock.
Yeah, right now the game has three different outfits per character. One is indeed linked to the Stormy maps. So you'll unlock stuff, and then it's outfits that match with the storm level. So they're all foul weather gear kind of themed stuff. And what was it? You have gloom outfits later. And the alternate outfit is just that. It's just a different version that's still in tune with their characters.
Yep. So
you also get to see Sage has fangs. She's the only one that has fangs.
Right.
If you go back to the other one.
This one, I don't know if you all can see that tiny mouth there. But yes, we do have the Shroomy costume. That's right, what Rainier said. Although it's not shown here in this art book, but it is available in our current games. That is actually so.
For those that don't know, we do plan on patching the art book at one point with all the new content. That's the advantage of being digital. You can always update the PDF.
Yep, that's right. So those are the bakers. Let's move on to the doughs, which everybody loves. Yes. So the little bun. Okay, so for the little bun is an interesting one because he's our prototype bun.
Literally, he's the proto bun.
Yeah, he's the proto bun, and I guess we just decided to stick him around until the end. Yes.
He's iconic.
He is.
But even in the original designs, there were a few like more abstract, not specifically creature themed buns, and that's why you also like the little bun shows up everywhere in desert and in jungle. He will be. You'll see him everywhere, even in the future worlds that we do. Like there will always be a little bun.
Super cute, super adorable. I think, like everyone that has played the game would always want the plushie of it, or like the animal pins. So, yeah.
Yep.
These are development character concepts, actually.
Yes, this is some of the first things we did. There's there's like mochi sweets, rotten bread, whale dough. There's the what was it, the bun king, and all like things that we haven't even gotten around to, and like in all honesty, some of the stuff will never get made. It's just like ideas that didn't pan out.
Right, right. Although brilliant ideas. Now that I just saw it, or maybe I have, and then I remember it. That whale is adorable, and that snail.
Yes. Yep. There's a bunch of fun ones.
Yes, clever.
You see all the flavor concepts in the bottom as well.
Yeah, that's right. There's the coconut, strawberry, pineapple, and watermelon. Although for the tropical theme, we did not have the strawberry. Yes, that's okay.
The strawberries is later.
Yes. So next character is the dodo. It's actually my personal favorite because just how it waddles. Yes.
This is when things got tricky because if you make a bun, like the little bun is so simple and iconic, like if you want to try and differentiate it, but avoid making the design too busy. The dodo was indeed like one of the first ones to figure out that puzzle. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. These are the variants of dodo. So cute.
Yeah, you can see a few of the concepts that were didn't make it either. Like there's actually a lot more. It's like there's literally like a poster wall full of like designs that one day,
Yes.
or they don't match the style, because that one of the ways that for anyone that ever gets into art production, art direction for games or even shows or whatever, you do a lot of designs, and from that you pick the ones that match the best with each other. You gotta be you'll do like 50 designs and keep one, and that happens with practically everything. Like, it's less so on environment, depends on how picky you get with it, but like characters, there's always like a million of them, and you only keep like 2 or 3.
Right. I have a question about character, but I'll ask it later.
Okay.
So yeah, this is Dorilla. Dorilla fella is an interesting one. It likes to do its shimmy dance. Yeah.
Likes to dance.
It likes to dance.
It's got sass, lots of attitude.
Exactly. We were kind of.
Based on the head is kind of like a dumpling, like a raw little dumpling. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, all of these are in the tropical area as well, trying to stick to that theme. Yeah.
I do like the arms. That looks like a baguette. I mean, we still have.
Yes, the little scarring lines.
Yeah, exactly.
The bread. Like that is the other thing. We always try to. I mean, their doughs. We try to hint at the fact that they are inspired by some form of food that people are familiar with. And as you may notice, we always have to design what they look like when they're small and big, like max stack when you make them really big.
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Yeah. The little bun just gets
bigger.
Chunky.
Yes. Yeah. So, moving on to Armado. Armado is also a cute one. Kind of reminds me of kind of a croissant. Was that the aim? Actually.
Yes.
Somewhat.
Definitely one of those breads. Yeah.
Yes.
This one's one of my favorites. I love this guy. It's so damn cute.
It is, especially.
And the animation, the animators had so much fun with it as well. It is just adorable.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the animation is super cute. So if you're all playing the game, my goodness, it's cute as
the Armado is precious. You must protect it.
Yes. And Asher rolls up into a ball. It's one of its behavior, actually. Speaking of behavior, actually, Rainier, since we're talking about the characters and also the AI, what came first, actually? The design of the character or the concept art? I mean, the game design of the character or the concept art? Yeah.
It kind of was the reverse. We would design a bunch of them, and then from there we would talk about what they could potentially do. And then the designers would actually go out and try a bunch of stuff. But yeah, the visuals in this case came first. And then the how they would behave came later. But it was a lot of like talking, like, oh, they could roll up in a ball, and you could throw them. And,
Right. So basically there's, so the concept art first, ideation of the visuals, and then the designers would then try to be creative with what is there, basically. But there's also a bounce back and forth as well between art and also design. So
it's not linear. It's not like you just do one thing and go all the way back.
Sure. Yeah.
The characters are a bit more involved in that regard. Like, it is a bit more linear. Whereas with levels, the designers, they just they had an idea of what the theme is of the level. Like you see in the background for me, the desert scene, like that was it. Like, it's going to be a desert themed world. But when they designed the maps, we just had them do the gameplay, and then afterwards the art team and Drip came in and dressed up the levels. So that one was really the reverse. Like, hey, design, go nuts, have fun. And then I would look at the blockouts they give me, and I'm like,
what did you do?
Okay, let's see what I can do with this. What can I turn this into? Right. Sometimes I would tell them, it's like, no, you have to tweak this one area because I can't do anything with it. But most of the time, we would get something from them and just dress it up.
That's for the levels.
Which is fun.
Yep,
that's later.
So back to the characters. Now we have Bunboa. Yes, this was a tricky one too, I think. Was it, Rainier, for like in terms of animation or rigging?
Not so much. I think more on the character side, because some people were not convinced that a snake would be cute.
That's right.
Have you been on the internet, man? Like,
yeah, there was a comment of that. That's true. Like, it kind of raise your like a goosebump when you see it like slither. Yes. But actually, it's quite cute. Look at it.
No, it's a snake.
Yes.
But this one really was. Oh my gosh, we went through tons of concepts for this one to find the cuteness.
I think in terms
it took some work.
Right. I think in design as well, actually. It took some work. But worth it. Okay. Fluff Fox. This is also another favorite of a lot of people. Also, a lot of people are annoyed by it when you play the game, actually, because this fella is really quick and you can only catch it from behind. Yeah. Or when it's big. Fluff Fox.
It is another cute one. I mean, that was the theme. We tried to make every character really appealing and just you want a plushie for each one. That was the goal. Like in the end, like you just want something so damn cute.
Right. And
this one's got the really fluffy tail.
Yep. And also, FYI, everybody, actually, haven't mentioned this, but basically the does are based on the environment itself. So, for example, moving back here, so we have the dodo and also dorilla, which suits the theme of the tropical theme. And also we have the armadillo and the bunboa and also the fluff fox, which we try to fit into the desert theme.
Yeah, when we went to the desert, that was after prototype. So this one we really we'd already tropical set the base for how we like to approach it. And this one is indeed we're doing a desert environment. What kind of creatures are in the desert? I don't know if we have it in here, but we did sketches for little lizards and geckos as well. But,
maybe not. It's not.
I don't think they're in the book.
But we can update it.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, so that was one of the creatures that did not make it for desert. Because at one point we were going to have more, it was going to be a more unique dose per environment. But there was already so many combinations and gameplay styles to take into account. So in the future, most maybe. Yeah. And then, oh yeah, you have the bat on there.
Yes,
The bat shows up
in all stormy
stormy
levels.
levels, nighttime levels.
Yes, exactly.
This one also shows up everywhere. The bat is similar to the little bun, in that it's not limited to one single world.
Although it is limited to, yeah, like what you mentioned, Rainier, the stormy, shroomy, and night levels, basically, right? Dark levels.
Yeah, mainly stormy maps, and yeah, any stormy and gloom maps. It will not show up in the base.
Yep.
The base campaign, so to speak. Like
I remember I was fighting for the name. Baklava, like the baklava. Wait,
yes.
And it made it. Yay. Yeah. Sorry, you were saying something, Rainier?
Yes, and I completely forgot. Oh yeah, from a gameplay mechanic, the bat cannot be flavored. He has to steal flavor. He is a vampire, so the only way you can actually flavor him is to throw another dough that is flavored in front of him, and then they'll suck up the flavor. So it's an extra little step.
Yep.
To get them to if you try and throw a bat over a flavor pool, he'll just be like, "What? I fly."
Yes, exactly. That's right. Good point. So yeah, the bat lava would need to suck another dough's flavor. Moving on to the enemies. Sticky and Stucky.
Yes.
Do you want to take this away? Well, basically, Sticky and Stucky, they're just... I think our prototype enemy was Sticky, actually. It was just like a lump of slime that...
Yeah, this guy has not changed since the prototype.
That's right, yeah.
We kept him because he just, like, it worked out well.
Exactly. But during our playtest, then some people wanted some variant of enemies. That's where we found Stucky, his cousin.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
the slightly less terrifying version. Yeah.
Yeah. So Sticky basically would grab any doughs or bakers actually, make them stuck. But the Stucky, the pink one, would definitely just it will.
It's like stepping in a big ball of bubble gum.
Yes, and it will target the doughs actually, and the dough counts would reduce. So that's the difference. But there,
it's Sticky or Stucky? I think
Stucky.
One of them.
Stucky is the one that would reduce the count. Oh, basically both of them actually will reduce dough counts, but the Stucky would definitely always target the doughs, while Sticky would always target the bakers. But if you accidentally throw a dough to Sticky, then it would still reduce significantly, actually, in terms of dough counts.
They get dirty. Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, they just want a hug. That's what I always say.
They're so, yes. They have those noodly hands. They're always like coming at you like this.
Hug me. Anyway, so this is the spore. Yeah, these are like the tiny devils actually.
This is the source of all the trouble. Yeah, like the mold that will spread through the levels. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Once you see one of these enter the map, you're like, oh dear, gotta kill it. Otherwise,
yes, kill it as soon as you can.
Spread.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and these.
When you think of it, Bacon Switch is essentially a zombie game disguised by dough. Yeah. But we just have the mold, or moldy bread.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's terrifying. Oh. But yeah, these are the infected buns. Basically, so the buns will get infected, and it's up to the bakers to punch off the moldies and bake them, or else the moldy infection would spread. So
in the end, we did stick to just one color palette for the moldies, but in the future we might. There definitely has been talks about different strains of mold. That's why you see the colors in the background. That would give them different behaviors. Oh, the stream broke.
The stream broke?
Or at least on my side.
Maybe you can refresh.
Refresh.
Yes. So if it's still on, which I hope it is, by the way,
Yeah,
the stream.
it is.
Okay. Next up is Mini Maurice. Yeah, so basically, Mini Maurice is, or we call him Maurice Jr. And by the way, Maurice is one of our tropical, well, it's our tropical boss character. So this is one of his minions that would walk around, and you will encounter him in the later levels in the tropical.
Yeah, each of the worlds have indeed the minions. They're not the dough. They're also creatures or like characters that cannot be infected by the mold. And they're also there to steal food for the hungry guardians. They're always there to steal the doughs for snacks for the hungry guardian.
Yes.
So you're always trying to beat them up so that they don't get away with it. Yeah.
Yep. So they will run away, and we were just, I think we were contemplating on how it will run away and fly away. Some people say, okay, inspired by Mary Poppins or inspired by Doraemon. Well, you'll see it in the game. Up to you guys, what you guys think. Now, this is another minion that is in the desert world called Bob Jr. We're really creative with the name.
Yes.
So it's actually a beetle which would just basically function the same as the tropical minion, which would just steal the dough and fly away.
The difference with this guy is he rolls them up in a ball.
Yes.
Similar to how you get the dung beetles, but now it's a dough beetle.
Yeah.
And the ball can actually like knock the player. If I'm just, at least that was one of the initial ideas. I forget if it's still in there.
You actually, yes, it would, and if it
and
rolls,
you can break the ball. Yeah.
Yes, if it yes, you can break the ball. Yeah, you can break the flavor ball because it also rolls a flavor ball actually in the desert level.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now this is the boss of the tropical, Maurice, Maurice.
Yes.
So how did you end up with this guy actually?
How most concept design goes, you just start scribbling a bunch of shapes. But I definitely had the idea already in the beginning of some sort of lizard, like really big lizard. And at one point he was more dumb and brutish, but I didn't like the idea. I actually wanted him to be quite intelligent, which we ended up changing his animations at one fact. So he became a wizard instead of a brute.
Right.
So he's like a shaman, kind of like
witch doctor. Yeah.
Yeah, casting spells, and he's a trickster at the same time.
Yeah. Super cool.
And I did the initial line work, but one of our other artists, Kelly, she did all the colors. Like that lady just, she knows how to play with colors like crazy. So it's lovely stuff.
Super colorful. Yay. So yes, interesting character. Now, Bob.
Yes, Bob the Beetle.
Yes. So Bob.
The name came after.
Yeah, all of them actually, all the names came after, I think, and I don't know. Well, I always just joke about it that we're creative with names, but anyways, it sticks. So that's what matters.
Those are debates. It's always a debate. We would everyone would drop 1,000 names, and it ends up in Excel sheets, and we vote for it, and then we still
come up with Bob, basically. Yeah. Well,
okay, fine.
That's fine. So this fella, what was the inspiration for Bob?
Well, again, he, similar to the dung beetle, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a big one, and he would actually be more like a warrior, intimidating, big brute. Because I mean, these are the guardians that historically, if you've watched the lore stuff or read, the little lore text that shows up in the loading screens, they were the original ones that helped you defeat the dough. Yeah, and on his design, instead of it being him wearing an outfit, he has actual metal trimmings added to his carapace at the same time.
How would you? Sorry. Oh yeah, how would you compare this fella with an actual character in the in actual world. Like for example, Maurice, you say it's like a shaman witch doctor. How about Bob?
He's a boxer. He's a definitely a warrior type.
Warrior. Okay, right.
A bouncer.
A bouncer and with a majestic mascara eyeliner. Yes.
Yes, he has fabulous eyelashes. Yeah.
Yes, which I'm
Well,
jealous.
that's more from like some of the I don't know, what was it? Some of the illustrations I saw of like Egyptian makeup.
Yeah, with that.
I tried it. I'm like, you know what? We're keeping it.
It works. Yes.
It works. Yes.
The oven. This is yeah. You want
The
to
most complex thing in the game, the oven.
There you go. Yes, it is indeed the most complex. It's not just a thing, it's actually a character, by the way.
Oh yeah, it's totally an entity. It can get angry and sad and sick and has a lot of expressions. It's constant. It's in every map. Like there is the oven that needs to be fed. Yeah.
Yep, and we have so many variations of it, but so far, yeah, I guess our classic oven just made it all the way through, which is all right. And initially, our oven actually didn't have any animation at all. It was just like VFX, and then, well, Rainier, you decided, okay, it has to have a character. You know, we're gonna toss that in.
Yes.
And it made a lot of difference, actually.
Well, in the beginning, it was just sitting there static.
Yeah.
And we had icons and UI stuff to show you like timers when the food was ready. But I was like, from a design point, I really dislike having to rely on UI for communicating gameplay. So I went all in with the animation art team to communicate as much of the concepts of like, okay, it's baking food, it's really angry at you right now, it can do something, and that was a combination of effects and animation to get all that stuff across.
Yeah, and it really does add a lot of character, and it really adds up to the game experience, to be honest. So, yeah.
Yep. And it took a lot of time to get it right, and that's also why there's only one right now.
That's right.
I would like to have a different oven for every world. Maybe in the future we'll do it, but yeah, because of the level of like just work that we've put into it, it would be it's a full-on character. It's just as complicated as making a baker from scratch because of all the animation that it has.
Yep.
But I want to, because there's so many other cool ideas we have.
There are, yeah. So if you all play the game, just check it out. Try it out. Like how many stacks of dough you put it in, you see how it reacts, or like you make it moldy, you see how it reacts. It's interesting.
Yes.
Yes. Anyways, now environment. Haha. So Tropic Toaster. This is the development. You want to take it
This
over?
was the first one.
Yeah, this was indeed the first one. Super colorful, vibrant, very attracting. I really, yeah, I love it. So.
I actually spent a lot of time on this image. Like there was actually, I tend to only do like one or two key concept pieces.
Oops. Right.
For the environments, and oddly enough, like when we were doing the assignment, like if you read from the left side to the right, there's a distinct change in like more water and sand, and then it's more grassy, open grassy areas and rocks, and then it goes all the way to like deep jungle and shadowy, and that was pretty much the guideline for whenever the environment artists, like, okay, we're this far into the game, focus more on this, like more dark jungle and ruins instead of like on the beach where it's sunny.
That's right. It actually also it shows in the game, in the world map, where as you progress to later levels, so basically the earlier levels, like what Rainier said, was like the beachy side, beach areas, and then slowly transitioning to the jungle, and then to the deep jungle or like temple areas actually. So you can actually feel it, experience it in the game as well. And then towards the end is basically the temple areas with the boss. Yeah, these are the environment the
Those
art
are
development.
some extra sketches we did,
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
for um, indeed, what does it look like in the deep jungle, or even moldy, potentially moldy areas. Just a fun color palette for lighting, inspiration, colors.
Yep. And these were ideas for the world map.
Oh yeah. Indeed, this was exactly like just like interesting shape language and like chunkier, more how do I say, more even more abstract proportions for like mountains and rocks and clusters of forests. Yeah, that's what informed the world map when we made it.
Yep. And that's how it actually looks. Well, on the right side is actually the concept. So.
Yeah, actually, I don't know. Can you zoom in on these?
Yeah.
The
Bloop, like that.
No, this was some of the really early. Oh yeah, there you go.
These are really early ones. Actually, these are like blockouts. Am I correct? Right.
The bottom, that one that you're looking at, yeah, that's before it was lit. But yeah, that was earlier in the. But if you look to the ones on the right.
Okay, the right
Scroll
here.
to the right.
This one.
Yeah.
Oh, these are like the early ones.
That is really early. This was
super early.
The very first sort of like paint over that we did on a level.
Yeah.
From like early blockouts to start figuring out the look for the game. And then if you go up one. Yeah, that image right there was sort of a milestone on what I wanted levels to look like for Jungle. So that was like, okay, this is our target. This is a quality target we want to hit for the game. And then after that, that's when we made that big jungle illustration.
Bloop. Oh, the one before actually.
That's what the game actually looks like.
Yeah.
So I think we did. I think we did quite well.
Yeah, actually, now that you mention it, yeah, this is super early because our spawners were actually just pipes, blue pipes. It's like, oh, that was what we used in our prototype actually.
Yeah, that was all prototype stuff still.
Yeah. So these are like the zoo environment stuff.
Yeah, here you get like the asset zoo, just seeing a bunch of the separate like bits of foliage and rock work that we used to decorate the levels. So, It had to be. I mean, the art school was not big on the project. It was like two environment artists, 2 character artists, and like
yeah, it was.
People did it.
Yeah.
It was not a big art team on this. Like every department was like at most 2 to 3 people at most.
Yeah, and it rotates.
So we did a lot. We had to work smart. So there's a lot of reuse and modularity and trying to make assets in such a way that you could change their colors, and if you combine them in new ways, it looks like something brand new.
Right, that's right. I'm just gonna skim through. So these are the assets, and then beauty
there you can see the color.
shots. Okay, should I move to this slide? This is okay,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
Yes, this is so pretty.
Deep jungles.
Yes, and this is the level where everyone always shouts and screams. It's the waterfall
the
level.
river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, super interesting. We have the carousel flavor as well there. Stormy level.
One of the other inspirations for the visuals, which you see in a previous screenshot, is that sort of miniature photography as well for the post-processing. So there's a lot of depth of field and stuff on the borders of the map at the same time.
Right. The blurriness on the sides. Yes.
Yeah.
So moving to
Story levels.
Oh yeah, that was the story in the levels, but I was just skipping it. So I'm gonna move to desert actually. Well, we actually have 15 minutes, but anyways, we'll move on. Sarah Dura. Yeah, Sarah Dura, tell us. Well, I guess. Well, I think it's quite obvious that it's a desert. So.
Yes, but in this one I actually was quite intentional with the color palette. I really wanted the sort of red rocks and more pastel sand. And then the plants stand out really nicely on top. So it's a very colorful desert compared to what a lot of people usually think of, just like, oh, brown and more brown and dried out plants. That
Yeah,
was kind of my logic behind it. Yeah.
yeah, actually,
And the water is also very colorful, like a uh, cyan, the greenish color. Yeah.
right. It was actually very helpful to have the desert sands to be not brown or beige all the time too, because it was difficult to differentiate the doughs with the sands actually in some point. But yeah, the pinkish help-ish helps.
Yep. Yep.
Yes, and this is the world map concepts, which
Yeah,
is
very
also
similar approach.
stunning. Yes.
Oh, they're fun to look at. Like you could print them out as posters. Like,
This one, yes, that's right.
actually, based on a much longer image.
Just have to cramp it into this digital art book.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, but actually, there's a lot. So this is his zoo assets for desert.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Yes, love it.
Yeah,
I
all
love
the
that
sand
pillar.
dunes.
I also love that pillar as well. It has that, I don't know, that touch of blue. Okay, I know you'll be like
Was it
turquoise.
amethyst? I forget the. Yeah. Well, basically, just some interesting sort of metallic crystal rock instead of just, again, like, well, it's just cool excuses for color, like gold materials as
Yeah.
well. Like,
Definitely makes it pop. Yeah. And just going through these. Okay, now the level select.
goodness. Yes, initially the idea was, well, these, I kind of still like, I want to, I don't know. It's an idea that we had where you would see the world as little globes from a distance first, and then when you click on them, it would show you a world map. We didn't do that.
We didn't. But it was the initial idea.
It's the idea.
Yeah. Yes. Now the skybox.
Skyboxes, yes.
Yes. Very
Should-
pretty.
Again, these I need to print out as posters and put them on the wall.
Oh, you can.
They're just so nice.
I'll have them as my wallpaper.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Pretty.
But yeah, they're quite fun. In the like, the artist had to. What was it? It was Rahman that did all the skyboxes. Like,
Yep.
He's a master with clouds and mountains, so like, but he had to take into account the different time of day that we had for the maps, as well as sunset and then stormy. Yeah, so here you can see all of it. It's like midday, morning, sunset, and then just like very angry weather. Like,
Yes. Very pretty. And the landscapes. Really nice. The lore.
yeah, these
Oh, sorry.
you don't really see it in the game, the horizon, but since it's Unreal Engine and it's really accurate with how it represents reflections on assets. So if we didn't put this there, it would look off.
Right.
And when we do cutscenes, obviously,
You can see this.
they're in the same level. We don't just build for that fixed perspective. We build a full, like, nice little surrounding horizon details.
The lore. Well, I wish I had a Monster, our game designer, to explain this one, but the lore is a complicated one.
Yeah, we'll gloss. We'll just
Gloss.
maybe we'll do a chat for that later.
Yeah, we will have another episode.
We can do an episode just on the lore, because
Yes.
believe it or not, there is lore. Yeah,
There
there
is.
is a logic to the lore.
Yeah, so
But yes, all of this is actually for the load screen. It was all with the idea of giving the players some sense of story by looking at cave paintings, kind of. Whenever you have the load screen, it shows like different snippets of events that have happened in the past. And this is just all of the art that went into that. I think there's more.
Yep. So these are like the foreground, background that you
Yeah.
see in the loading screen as well.
as if you're moving through a cave, indeed.
Yes. I should have this one too as my wallpaper. Pretty interesting, yes.
Yes.
Cave paintings idea.
And we will be updating that load screen at one point. Because I actually, it's tech limits we have to keep an eye on. But like, I actually really wanted the bakers to always be like walking in as if they're walking through a cave with like torches. I still want to pull that off. And then, yeah, the foreground and background elements, it's kind of classic 2D animation tricks where, you know, you have things panning past the camera. And then you have the bakers walking, and then there's this light glow revealing the cave painting in the background. It's just a nice way of doing loading screens. Although you don't see them that often because we got really good at having very quick load times.
Exactly. It's like, oh, let's have this, and then it's like 1-2 seconds done.
Damn.
Okay. Well, we'll think about it. Yes.
I mean, one of the other ideas, if we'll see if we get to it at one point, is to actually have a cave you can just go to, and essentially just walk from one side to the other and look at the wall paintings as, you know, as one of the little bakers. That was definitely one of the ideas that's in the air, but we might get to it one day. So it's like it's a different way of doing like a gallery. You know, it's like, oh, let's go to the cave.
Yeah.
It'd be fun to do.
Yes.
Yes. Here's more of it.
Okay.
No,
So
just keep going.
keep going. Okay. VFX, water splashes. Okay.
Yeah, everything is custom crafted. It's
Yes. Oh, okay.
anytime you see, well, these splashes, it's a mix. Like the little splash you see on the side, they're also used for the goo. Whenever something gets flavored in the dough, like these effects are color shifted.
Oh, you actually
look
use
like-
these ones too.
Oh yeah, we use these. Yeah, the splats.
Okay.
They're used. Yeah, the little like splashy patterns.
Right.
Those are all used in the particle effects for when a dough gets covered in goop and
Recycle,
the-
reduce, reuse.
smart art. Okay.
Yes, yes. Implemented in art and games too. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So
This is look dev that we did for the oven. It's like, okay, to give the VFX artist sort of a nice target to paint, to aim for on, yeah, like how, what happens when the oven gets, you know, is doing a bake over like a small amount of dough, a really big amount of dough, or if you do a bad order.
look at that. That looks
and then-
mad.
Yeah, that's wrong order. Yeah, wrong order. It's really angry and burns and like just explodes. Or if it gets infected, it's covered in nasty slime and goo. Like it's got a really bad cold that it has to burn off.
Yes. Yes. Crazy. These are the effects of MAURICE, and also we have the power-ups effects, and also the special skills effects here.
Yeah, it's just a random sample because there are so many in the game. We can't possibly fit them all in the book.
Yeah. You'll just have to get the game, everybody.
And play it.
Yes, and play it. Experience the art. Yes. Okay, so these are just, I guess, sprites for the...
These are
for
all
the instructions.
art for the UI.
Yeah.
The tutorials, the
Correct.
little, the little pop-up guides. Like it's a bunch of like just graphic elements.
Right.
Essentially, this is the sprite sheet that's stored on the drive, but you never see them like this.
Yeah. It's for the infographic, actually. Look at that.
It really shows it on the next page. Yeah, these are all infographic elements.
And now for the flavors. Oh, these are the concept arts for the flavors, actually. Honey, pomegranate, and cinnamon.
Yep. And there was a bunch more flavors that didn't go in, but you could see that when we designed them, you try to see what the palette looks like in the level at the same time.
Yes.
So does it read nice? Is it different from the previous levels?
Right.
At the same time, you also figure out the little deco bits that would be used on the doughs.
Yep.
Yeah.
And textures of... Where were these used? I can't remember. Actually.
there's some cloth canopies
Right.
in some of the maps in the ruins.
Yeah. All right. And ground textures, waters. Like,
Oh yeah, this
more-
is
I guess
like you
it's-
do the concept and then you have to figure out. Yeah, basically, it's a cheap way of also figuring out what to produce later for the actual environment artists. Like, okay, let's quickly, what would it look like for tiling snow and like grass and all that. The snow is totally not hinting at an environment we might be doing later. Yeah.
Yes. The graphics. Oh, these are like the development of the logo itself, which we went really wild at the beginning, but then it came down to the to just visibility, actually. Which we have the logo Bacon Switch. So, and also the merchandise, which Rainier is using right now. One of them, I guess.
Yes, I have.
You have the
One
dodo.
of the shirts.
Yes, nice. Yes, I like big
Green
buns.
screen is doing weird stuff.
Yes. I think for those lucky people who went to PAX last year. Yes,
we've
last
had
year.
a few
Yeah.
events where people were able to get some of the swag.
Yes. And we have some illustrations which we like to share in our social media. Like over here, we also have it for the Christmas theme. I believe was in 2019. And also we have some illustrations again, like from our social media, which celebrates many days: the cat day, the donut day, yeah, the friendship day.
I've learned because I have to approve all of these. I've learned that there are many days that
Yes.
get celebrated. I'm like, okay.
Me too. I was like, oh, there's that day. Interesting.
Oh, okay.
We should all just have a holiday every day. So yes, these are the icons for the UI.
Yes.
For the UI, for power-ups and stuff, and also for the badges that you get. Achievements, yes.
Yes, lots of achievements.
These are the infographic stuff as well that you can see in some of the beginning part of the levels, which will introduce something new. Yeah, the UI elements. Oh, and this is the team. So, yeah, we actually have you there. And that's me there. And these are the team members.
That was the first cosplay we had as well.
That's right, and this is one of our junior VFX artists actually who cosplay, and I think she did an amazing job creating the costume. Like I guess it was like in a day or something. Amazing.
I don't know. She was a wizard at it.
Yeah, she
was
is.
like, what? How did you make that?
No, amazing. And this is a team. I think we're like roughly, I want to say around 30 maximum, but sometimes it drops definitely. So yeah, it ranges around like 20, 30. That's with basically programmers, designers, artists, yeah, QA team. So yeah, fun. And our signatures. Yeah, I think that kind of wraps it. Oh, this is the final image that we wanted to show that you're mentioning.
Yes, the image that is the madness of what it can turn into.
Okay, yes. So wrapping up this session, I just wanted to ask a few questions, like final questions. So looking back at the whole journey, is there anything you would have done differently?
No, not really. I think it turned out quite well.
Okay. So,
I mean, if anything, it's just like there's more we would like to do.
So last one. So what else can we look forward to for Bacon Switch and Streamline Games? Dun dun dun.
Well, definitely more levels, more environments, more DOs. There's so many more things that we haven't, like, I mean, you get hints of in this image here of what we would like to do in the future. But yeah, more like definitely there's ideas already figured out for what another big world could look like, and with that would come some new, like a whole new range of does and buns they would encounter, new guardians and abilities and puzzles.
Or new costumes too.
Yes, obviously. Yes.
Yes, yes.
As for Streamline Games, well, I mean, yeah, the Bacon Switch is one of the games that's out, but we definitely have a bunch of new ideas in development, new prototypes, and other games that we're working on. So stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. Get the game, everybody. I don't know how many times I said that. So
Play game, yes, it's
play
cute.
the game. Yes. And also you can also feel free to give us feedback or talk to us in our Discord channel as well. So yeah, and engage with us. So maybe we can also make the game, I guess, better in a way as well. So
Yeah. We on the Discord we do take into account user feedback a lot. We watch streams of players whenever we can to see what concepts we think work that doesn't come across to the players, and we tweak the designs when we can. Yeah, when we think it would help communicate the original intent, or just like remove things or add things that improves the game. Because sometimes, indeed, removing stuff is better than keeping it in there. Make things simpler, easier to understand.
Because we want to know what you think as well. So, yeah, and also it's we're all in lockdown. It gets lonely. Talk to us. So, yeah. Anyway, so wrapping it up, thank you everybody for tuning in. I'm Elizabeth, and also Rainier. We're going to say goodbye and have a good one. Stay safe. Bye.